What's going on, everybody? This is Shantae, and this is our first official live stream episode. And we're going all the way to Louisiana with this, y'all. So, uh, a lot of my viewers may not know you, because I actually met you at TJC. Shout out to Tyler Junior College, and that's where I met you.
Right.
So, let's introduce yourself to my audience. So what's your name? Where you from? Let us know a little bit about yourself.
I go by Manny Zevaj. I'm from Minden, Louisiana, little small town in North Louisiana, 318, hold it down. Yeah, I met you in TJC, Tyler Junior College. Shout out to them. Had a
Mhm.
good little time,
Good
2010,
times,
2011.
man.
Little crazy little times then, or what's up. So, to the people that don't know me, Manny Zevaj. That's Zevaj.
Okay. So what was it like? What part of Louisiana is it?
Minden, Louisiana. That's
Mendon.
like, yeah, like, well, to make it more simpler, we probably like 30 minutes from Shreveport. Make it more simple.
Oh, okay, because everybody knows Shreveport.
Yeah,
Everybody,
everybody knows Shreveport.
everybody knows Shreveport. Okay, so what was it like growing up?
Well, it was like, it was pretty easy. I ain't gonna say, I'm not gonna say I went through like a hard time or what. So everybody had their struggles. I had mine. And shout out to my mama for actually being there for her 3 kids, me and my 2 sisters, putting everything up in forward for us to do what we supposed to do. But like I said, everybody had their struggles. I'm not gonna say it was a hard time, but you growing. It was a growing
Right,
thing. That's all I can say.
right. Okay, so for those who may not know, you are a rapper and a producer as well.
Right, rapper, producer, engineer, mogul, whatever you want to put it.
Okay, so what made you, or who inspired you to get into the music business?
I'm gonna just start off about who inspired me to actually start rapping or
Mhm.
what's up. Like I say shout out to, like, once again, shout out to my mama, because I used to steal. I remember back in like second, third grade, I used to steal her little poem books or whatsoever. She used to write poems or whatsoever, and like I used to steal her poems and used to try to write them down, make my own, to give them to little females and everything at the time. Try to make it all good and stuff. But I kind of took it serious at a point in time, and she was behind me with it. So that's basically how it is. I started out
Okay.
with that. So it all was set with me. I was young when I started, to actually love music, the thing of music, and it just all fell in place with it. That's all.
Okay. So we got to shout out to your moms.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So you say she used to write poems.
Yeah, she used to write poems. It used to be, about love. It used to be about pain. It used to be about a whole lot of things. That's something that I knew about her growing up. Or what?
Mhm.
So she used to write poems and stuff like that. I guess to free her mind. And that's one
Right.
thing. Like me putting my pen to the paper, it free my mind, my anxiety. It take it down.
Right. I actually had a cousin. She used to write every day in her journal. She
Right.
used to write exactly what went on that day. So when she died, my auntie went through her journal and she learned a lot about her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Um. So you also have a clothing brand.
Right.
Okay. So I'm in the custom business. And I know how important it is, especially if you're trying to grow a brand, how
Exactly.
important it is to have merchandise. Okay.
Very.
So what led you to get into the custom business? What led you to come up with your own clothing line?
It's just about the part about being in the culture, about the people being around. I felt like with me coming up with a clothing line was something that I stood behind, or whatsoever. High on life every day, whole gear, as I would call it, or whatsoever. I just put behind it. Like everybody, it don't matter if you. It's not a thing about what people would think that it is about. You have to smoke to be high on life every day. It's not. That's not possible. If you a happy person, you high on life every day. If things make you happy to get your day by, you're a very high on life every day. And it's
Mhm.
just, there's just something that I just felt like would just make a pull for it or whatsoever. So I just decided to do it. I had something in works before that. Stilo, that's something that I had got from my grandfather. It means style, like check out my stilo or something like that. And like it really didn't go too well with me as the same. And so I just thought about something that was a little bit more catchy, How in Life Every Day, and I felt like that would be something that people would catch on to.
Right. So the brand is named Whole,
Yes,
but it's
whole.
an acronym for
Yes,
How
it's
on Life.
How in Life Every Day.
Okay. And in I ordered the shirt. Now
Right,
I was upset that I couldn't fit the shirt. I gotta get
right.
another. You know what I'm saying?
It's
I
all
gotta
good.
get another one.
Yeah,
So on the shirt, because we want to get this clear, we want to put that out there. On the shirt, it has a blunt on there,
right,
but that ain't necessarily what you want. You talking
right.
about the How on Life, period.
How in Life, period. Like I
Let's
said,
get that understood.
yeah, they get
Okay.
that understood. That's how life, period. That's just why I have countless designs for it. They're just something that I came out with first, and I thought it was like it'll be kind of catchy, which it was pretty catchy. Like, oh man, like you can't just you got something with a blunt, okay, for the L. So yeah, so it's How in Life Every Day with it. So I changed little things up, switch it up a little bit, like for the kid gear and everything. It's all a point about it, but it just takes patience. Just try to get people just to get on to your gear whistle. So people can take it how they want to, but I know from coming from from my mouth that it mean more than just getting high. It
Right.
mean yeah,
That's why I wanted to be sure people knew that because I don't
right,
want people to be like, oh, he trying to promote, smoking. Nah, because when I seen it, I already knew what you was talking about.
right, right,
But
right. So
everybody don't have the same thought process as me.
yeah, you gotta think 10 steps ahead. People
Right.
don't
So we
think
had to put that out there. I wanted to put a light on that to let people know that that's not
right.
necessarily what you're talking about.
Mhm. Right.
Okay. So when it comes down to with your brand, um, finding a manufacturer is pretty difficult out here.
Yes.
You know, because you have customers and they count on you for this product, but you working around somebody else's clock too. Unless
Exactly.
you have like a different business, like a different manufacturer overseas or somewhere producing the product.
Right.
But if you have somebody, so how are you going about your manufacturing? You don't gotta, shout your person out or nothing like that. But are you more leaning towards having someone hands on where they're close in your city, or how you feel about that?
I started out with the little thing about being a little bit hands on in the city. Shout out to them for even helping me start out the little thing anyway.
Mhm.
Shout them out. And like it's the point about promoting yourself and branching out to people to actually who want to work with you and stuff like that. Like I had actually set down, like set this brand down just for a little bit, because as I say, like with me being a rapper whatsoever, because I have things that's in store, so it's better for me to get everything that's in line and then make a better drop than what I would, rather than just rushing and giving people the product that I don't qualify for. I'm trying to make everything perfect. So I'm giving time and learning more. That's what it is. I'm on a more learning basis, trying to be knowledgeable of this, doing this stuff with the shirts and everything, or with the clothing line. Like it's way more than just making a logo and putting it on a t-shirt or something. You have to know what goes on, who to talk to, who not to talk to, if people their prices are fair, if they're not fair, you got to go for it. So I'm sitting that down so I can learn more, and then it can start falling in place how it's supposed to be. But a lot of people who got my shirts now or whatsoever, that I feel like that is that's vintage. That's gonna be vintage. There's gonna be something that's the start, and then I say it's only gonna get better.
Right,
Hmm.
right. Yeah. So you really want to be hands on,
Yes, yes,
because you want to make sure you're producing the right product for your customers,
yes,
which
yes.
is very, very understandable. Okay. So with that being said, what is your all-time goal for the brand?
My all-time goal for the brand is just to get noticed. If you get what I'm saying, like not just to be noticed like on a famous standpoint, but like people would just look at this shirt and be like, man, I wonder exactly what he mean. Like
Mm-hmm.
I could be high on life every day. Like I'm like something to make, something if you're feeling down, you could put your shirt on, put your gear on because it's on, it's gonna be the fly gear. You put yourself on like, man, I know I'm looking good, I'm feeling good. I'm high on life every day and can't nobody put me down for it. That's what my whole process of the goal is to bring people into my world, bring people into my world about it's better than being mad and angry all the time.
Right, right. Okay, so this podcast was made not only to promote small business, but I also wanted to talk about different topics that I feel need to be touched on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I tell people all the time, if you're very close-minded, this is not the podcast for you.
Right.
Okay, so with that being said, I know that you have struggles with depression, or you have went through your struggles with depression. Um, what was the signs for you? Everyone has that. No, everyone has their different signs, but for you, what was the sign? What triggered you to realize that it was a problem?
Losing focus. When you losing focus and I like with me losing love for stuff that I like to do. Like that's making me feel like I'm in depression mode when I'm losing interest completely.
Mhm.
Like something that like I said I like rapping. If I don't feel like I don't want to rap or something, it's something going on with me. Like that's just something that I don't go through or something like that. Moping, doing all this little stuff around about it. It just that's what triggered it or whatsoever. So I try to keep myself busy, to stay out of it. But it's more on an anxious vibe than it is, with my depression now. Like I'm living, trying to live, depression free and keep my head up, chest out.
Right. So why do you feel like our community kind of avoids talking about it? And then when we do talk about it, people think that you're just talking. You know what I'm saying? And then when it's too late, that's when everyone they hear you. Why do you think that our community sleep on it?
It's something about it. Like I feel that the black community sleeps on mental illness, mental health, anything that's dealing with your mental because everybody feel like your black skin, your black heart, your black mind is supposed to be strong. Like
Mm.
that's something that where people don't understand. Like a lot of people look down to us because we're stronger than them, we're faster than them, we're supposed to be gods completely when it comes to things like that. Not saying that it would be like that in other cultures or other beings or whatsoever, but as you see through the history of the black man also was put as a strong minded man. So whenever you're going through things, people don't feel like, oh man, he can't go through this. Like nah, man, he's super strong. Like his mind's strong. He's a good person. They don't go through that when actually people go through it, and it just broadcasted more in other cultures because they're more vulnerable to it. We're not vulnerable to it because we're strong. Like you can't be a single black mother and have all sons and feel like you have to be weak with them because that's not how it's gonna happen. You're gonna have to be strong for them because if you're not, then you're gonna feel bad whenever they come in with the weak situations. Like, mom, I don't, I'm hurt. I don't, you're not gonna know how to adjust to that. Like people don't. It's adjustment. That's how I feel like.
Right. And I'm happy that you said something about mothers and raising a black son.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you feel like as black men that a lot of black men are taught to brush their emotions under the rug?
Simply because we're born to be on go. That's what I learned. Like we're born to be on go. Like we are nurturers. I mean, I'm sorry. We are the providers. Women are the nurturers. They're the one who nurture us. They soak in everything. But the man is being the provider or the one that's supposed to be overhand within being those feelings it's nothing that you really can say about that because, like I said just then, they feel that we supposed to be strong. Period. First, that's what it is. A man, that 3 letter word or whatsoever, it means strong. That's what it's supposed to be. And if if you're not strong, then they're gonna figure that you a weak man, or which you can people that women probably can talk at you wrong. Anybody, not even just women, people could talk to you if you're categorized as a weak person. They will put you and talk to you, throw you out, do anything they want to you. And the thing is, all that person needs is somebody just to talk to. Got to sweep my feelings up under the rug just so I can bite my tongue for people. It don't work that. It don't work like that. Like it's. I wish that a lot of black people was more open to it, and shout out to the people who actually are open to it and actually be there for people and help them through it, and or advocates, because I feel like I'm an advocate for it too because I go through it and I understand.
Right.
So
And I believe it's kind of hard to sympathize with somebody if you never experienced it.
right,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? So I know that because I haven't been diagnosed with anything, but I believe that I suffer from bipolar depression, and
Right,
this is why I believe that. Okay, I could be happy, and my mind would come up with a memory, and it would upset me or it would sadden me, and it's like my mind is triggering me, is training me to be unhappy. You know what I mean?
right. And the thing with that, like I have bipolar disorder. I have bipolar disorder. Like when I seen my psychiatrist last year, whatsoever, one thing that he told me about it is a lot of your bipolar disorder, a lot of your bipolar actions come from trauma.
Mm-hmm.
It don't come from what you live. If you live in a good life, it's not coming from that. It's coming from trauma from whenever you went through times, whenever you couldn't get love the proper way, or when you went through times people turned their back on you when you really needed them. Like that's trauma that actually strikes that. Like it's a lot of things. It's not man made to be bipolar. If you get what I'm saying,
Right.
it's a mental thing, and the stigma of it, that being bipolar, that people can, you're a maniac. That's what people feel like when you bipolar, that you're a maniac. It's not just that. I get See, with me, like I get frustrated with a lot of things quick. That's why they tell you. That's why they tell you count to 10, breathe in, breathe out, do things like that. Not simply being for the point that you will flash out, simply being because in your mind you'll turn. It's like a switch to click over with you being bipolar, that you don't know how to handle that situation, and you will handle it wrong. Rather than if you was in your right state of mind, you would have handled it a whole different way. That's why it's better to walk away if you know that you finna click. If you get what I'm saying.
Right. So you say you're in therapy.
Yes.
Okay. I'm happy you said that. Now, why did you feel the need to go to therapy? Because our community, we avoid therapy, and I'm one of those people who are avoiding it, but I know it's necessary.
Well, it's no need to avoid it. And I was like one of those too. I was a non-believer that I could just put it in my songs or talk it, let it out, do anything. It's not that. It's the point about when you actually go into a therapist or somebody who can actually not just relate, but somebody that can actually give you a thesis of what to actually know how to handle. Like if you talk, like one thing that I learned from being in therapy, if you're talking to your best friend, your mom, dad, anybody that you're close to or whatsoever, they're not going to understand exactly because they're going to think that it's in them. It's not your it's not, they're not in your body. If you get what I'm saying, they're not feeling the way that you're feeling, and they're going to feel that they can feel the way that you're feeling. But if you're talking to somebody that you don't know and somebody that understand the thesis of that point about it, they would make you understand that, like, okay, maybe I can do this and this to move on or whatsoever, because you'll be vulnerable to this one thing, you will be vulnerable to somebody you don't know rather than being hesitant with somebody you know. You don't want to just dish out all of your secrets to somebody
Right.
you know because you feel like they will tell somebody that you know,
Yeah.
rather than somebody that you don't know or whatsoever.
Right.
They can take that secret and take it to the grave. You get what I'm saying? That's just
Right.
how. That's why I was more comfortable with talking to somebody rather than that I don't know than rather than somebody that I did know.
Right. 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 So is your I just I don't want to know the name of your therapist or anything, but is your therapist another African American male?
No, and that's crazy. That's a crazy thing. He's not, and like it's something that I actually look for. Like, and it's not a bad thing about it. It was just something that it was my preference because I was just just browsing around or whatsoever. But with this man or whatsoever, he's not African American or nothing like this, but he's a very thick believer in the word. Like he's a very thick believer in the word, and that's something. No matter if people avoid it, if I avoid the word or whatsoever, it's still good to hear it. That's one thing that people have to understand. If you grew up in the church or whatsoever, no matter what it is, if you grew up in the church, no matter if you at the church, if you don't want to be in the church, no matter what it is, but it always takes something or somebody that will give you some kind of those words or whatsoever and will put you in a mindset like, okay, I can believe it for a little time, or I can get myself through from that whatsoever because it's something that I know, or something like that. Like like it's same within being like that with me with the white and black thing. Like I feel like even if I talk with a black thing or whatsoever, it's always gonna be. It's just something I feel like talking to another black person or something like that. It would feel like they would try to push it up under the world too. If you get what I'm saying, like
Hmm.
it's hard being black talking to another black person. If you
Oh
get what I'm saying,
wow.
hate
Okay.
to it's not. I'm not even gonna say that I hate to say it like that because I love my black people
I
and
get what you're
everything.
saying.
I love
Right.
my
Right.
black people and
Right.
everything. Like I'm always black, gonna always be there. The thing is why it's so hard to talk to black people because gossiping is big. Like that is big, and that goes between men and women. Like you can't even with your family. That's why it's hard for people in the family to talk to family members because they're gonna call the next family member and it's gonna be a video call, a group chat, or whatsoever. They're gonna be talking about your problems, but they can't tell you exactly how to get through them problems.
Right.
That's why I said
So
that's
for someone who just like me, who struggles with actually going but know that they need to, what
right.
would you say to that individual to encourage them to go?
Don't let it be you. Don't let it be you, the one that's getting to the point that you are ready to commit suicide. Don't let that be you. Don't let it be you that you're getting to the point that you want to harm somebody. Don't let it be you. Don't let it be you that that anything self harm, anything. If you feel like you get to that point, even it don't even have to be a therapist. Give a call to somebody to somebody to clear your mind. But I just encourage you to go to a therapist if you actually is deep in your mind like that. If your mind, it's not even the point about you being weak. There was a lot of people feeling when you're being depressed, bipolar, everything. They feel like you're being weak. It's not that. It feel like you're in. It's like you're inside of a hole in your mind. If anybody ever spaced out or whatsoever, it's a lot of stuff you see when you spaced out. It's a lot of stuff you see when you spaced out, and you have to understand, like when you see stuff that you don't understand, that the world can't understand, it's hard for you to bring it because it's in your body. So I expect for you to go talk to somebody to actually clear your mind and actually bring everything to you so you can figure it out.
All right. So with Thanksgiving being around the corner, I remember you asked is your stepfather to adopt you.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And around that, speak on that a little bit. Around that time, how old were you? Wasn't that like last year, I
Yeah, that was last year. That was Father's Day last year.
believe? Okay.
Yeah.
Father's Day last year. So since Thanksgiving is Thursday, let's talk about your stepfather a little bit. Let's talk about him because obviously you're very thankful for him. So
Very.
what led to that decision? And because you know, you asked him to adopt you and you're an adult. So that's very interesting to me.
Right.
So what led you to do that? Like, what led you to be comfortable enough as an adult to do that? Because that was amazing to me.
I appreciate that. I thank you for that. Um, Shout out to my father, to Credrick Gray. Shout out to him, and shout out to my biological father, Samuel Elkins. I love both of them very dearly, and it's just how it is. Like I grew up the way I grew up, or whatsoever. Like my biological father was in my life, but he wasn't in my life. It's things that spread to him from out of my life. The street life, they're just a product of the environment. It's something I can't control with it. It just was something that just happened. I never followed him for it or anything or whatsoever. But the fact that the things that my mom went through as growing up, abusive relationships, everything with that, and for her to find a gym when my father, when Craig, when he came, we called him Sid. When Sid came in, when he came in our lives, I was probably like 13 years old. It's crazy. I was 13 years old. My and my sisters and everything, we was there. And when he came in our life or whatsoever, he didn't bat no eye. He don't have no kids on his own or whatsoever of his. He don't have any biological kid. He didn't bat no eye or anything. He took the responsibility of raising me as being a man, because simply being at 13, I was a wild child. I was the man of the house for the whole time. For since I was a child, I was supposed to be the man of the house. So I was very rebellious, if I could say. I was a rebel, if you could put it like that. I didn't abide by some rules or whatsoever. But he didn't come in as in authoritative person, like an argumentative person. Like, he didn't come in like that, like being mean or nothing like that. He was just cool, just a cool person, and taught me things, taught me how to fix on my car, taught me how to be a man, growing up as being a man as him, also becoming a man as himself, as he growing up with his children just as it was or whatsoever. So it's just something that I felt needed to be done. Like I said, I love my biological father, and he know that that's there. That's love always be there, because we look exactly like. But for a man to actually step in and to take care of the family like that or whatsoever, and I felt it. I felt that just as we're being. Like, I don't have kids, and even if my fiance had a child, I would take the things that he taught me as being a man to actually be a man, because that's what I took into life now as being a grown man. I learned from him. So, there was something that I felt like needed to be done. And
Right. And that was amazing. That was amazing. So this podcast is about inspiring others and change lives. And we shine the light on your father. I'm sorry, I said stepfather, but we're gonna correct that. Your father, we
mhm.
shining a light on him. So if you could say one thing to anybody out here to inspire them or to change their life, what would it be?
Whew, man, it's so much that I can say to inspire your life. Like, you got to put your next foot forward. You got to be 10 steps ahead of everything. Like, that's what inspires you. Like, you got to wake up in the morning to know, like, this day is going to be very progressive, because I know I'm going to do something progressive. No matter if it's not progressive, but make some kind of effort to be progressive with it.
Right.
Like, it's always keeping your head up and your chest out. That's what I'm putting. Keep being, you know, be 10 steps ahead.
Okay, okay. So you got a song on YouTube right now, well, on all major platforms, called Amp On.
Oh yes, oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
hey, it's hard.
I appreciate
It's
that.
hard. I've
I
been
appreciate
jamming since you sent it to me. I swear I've been jamming since you sent it to me.
it. I
So
appreciate
let's
that.
talk about Amp On a little bit before we go. Let's talk about Amp On a little bit. What was your inspiration for that?
That inspiration was kind of crazy. Like, I'm in a riding group right now. Like, like a little riding group. We call it Wild Boys. Shout out my brothers, man. Wild Boys. What's happening? We in a little group, or so riding group, and we always used to say, they coming up with with the thing, cut the amp on, cut the the amp on or what's up. And I said, man, I just was thinking to myself, like, man, I want to make an anthem, a trail ride or a bonfire anthem. I'm gonna come up with this song called Amp On or whatsoever. So I'm just browsing and going through it, and I started thinking to myself, like, I never heard nobody actually do a remix to the Bunny Hop, or ever heard nobody actually
Yeah.
get into it. So I just got that beat and I turned it on. I was like, yeah, this finna fly. And
And it is, man. That muggy hit. So y'all
yeah,
be sure to go stream Amp on all major platforms.
yeah,
And
yeah,
again, thank you for sitting down and talking with me, man. I
no
was
problem.
gonna touch on your little poly relationship, but I'm gonna make you come back for that because hey,
Hey,
I enjoyed this episode. So we're gonna bring you back and we're gonna talk about that. We
hey, no
definitely gonna
doubt,
talk
no
about
doubt.
that next episode though.
Hey, that's cool. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for bringing me on, and you keep forward. I love what you're doing. Like I said, I appreciate it, and keep going. That's all I can say.
All right, thank you so much, man.
I say no more.